Kirkhope, it's a pleasure to have you on the Sound Architect. Thanks for speaking to us today.
It's thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been great to have the opportunity to speak to you and ask you a few questions. So I'll dive right in if that's okay.
Yep, sure.
So, how did your career in audio begin? Where did you start?
Well, I mean, I did the usual things at school. I played recorder and trumpet and did the school orchestra, and I did the North Yorkshire County Schools Orchestra thing, and then, it looked like I was going to be good at music, so they recommended that I should go and do a music degree, so I went and did that. They're on Roland College of Music in Manchester on Oxford Road. Did that for 4 years. And I'd play, in between doing all that stuff, I kind of picked up guitar and sort of liked playing in metal bands a lot, so I did a lot of that. And then left the college and decided to be, to do nothing, is to go on the dole, really, be unemployed. That's what I wanted to do. So I did that, just did that for I played in rock bands and stuff. And so I played for Little Angels and they were pretty successful. And I played for Zoot and the Roots, they were pretty successful on trumpet and stuff. And, still did metal bands and what have you. And they all kind of jollied along. And then it sort of got to 33 and everything sort of fell to pieces. And there was everything, Little just split up. And then I was playing in covers bands and making money from doing that. And it just kind of all came to a big crash, really. And it was like, oh, I'm not going to, this is today, I'm going to be a tramp, So my friend Robin Beadland, who I'd known by playing in bands together and was a good friend, he'd been at Rare for about a year and a half and said, look, why don't you have a go at what I'm doing? I'd never touched a computer in my life, He said to me, why don't you ever go? I thought, all right, So I just bought, buying an Atari ST with a meg of RAM, and I had a cracked copy of Cubase, and I bought a Podchaser synthesizer. Yes, sat in my bedroom, and I just sort of wrote tunes that I thought would be appropriate for video games, And, he came up a couple of times back to Yorkshire and I played him stuff. He said, it sounds quite good, that, So I just sent off cassette tapes to Rare thinking, I'll get a job there, it'd be easy, I had no idea what it'd be like. As I say, I sent 5 tapes. I sent it loads of times, 5 tapes over the course of a year and never got a reply. And then out the blue, I got a letter saying, please come for an interview. And would you please write 3 tunes for us before you come down? And I had about 2 weeks to do it. I had to write a Batman type piece, a fighting game piece, because they wanted me to do, because I was a guitar player, Robin was quite keen for me to do Killer Instinct stuff with him. Right. He was doing the arcade machines at that point. I wrote a kind of Mario sort of type jolly thing. And then I went down for the interview on a Friday, and I met with Dave Wise, Mr. Donkey Kong, and Simon Farmer, who's a general manager. Played my tunes and a quick chat, and then I left. And I got a letter Monday morning saying I got the job, and it was like, oh, amazing. First job of my life. I never had a job. It was quite bizarre to think I'm going to actually go and work somewhere. So I packed up my stuff, said goodbye to my mother, and went down to live in Colville. I lived in Colville at the time. Yeah, that's where I lived. For about a year. That was started at Rare. 95, October 15th it was.
And you were there for quite a long time, weren't you? How many years?
Yeah, till 2008.
Yeah, so a long time. So, I mean, you've obviously worked on quite a lot. Just for benefit of the listeners, what's some of your key projects that you've worked on so far?
Well, of course, Banjo-Kazooie games, I did those. I did Donkey Kong 64, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye, of course, did that. Viva Pinata, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, did that one. Just recently done some more stuff for Zynga. And I just did the remake for Disney, the Cast of Illusion remake thing, I just did that. The Ninja Gaiden, Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, they call it, but it's Z for us British people. And that's, I've still got a bit to do on that, that's not quite finished yet.
Yeah, because that's out next year, is it?
Yeah, I think it's March, somewhere around there. I'm not positive. So I think it's before March or whatever, somewhere around there.
So what would you say would be your proudest project so far?
I don't know about that really. I get asked that quite a lot, and I'm pretty proud of everything I've done really. I mean, I've been very fortunate. The games that I've worked on have been pretty successful really. So, due to no fault of mine, obviously, but I've just been very lucky. I mean, I don't know really. I'm really proud of the Banjo-Kazooie thing because I really tried to make that different, and even though I don't think it is that different, people think it is. So that's been, I don't know if that's a double negative, I don't know. But yeah, I tried to make it not the Mario, even though Mario music is fantastic. I tried to make it not that kind of overly jolly, happy thing. I wanted to make Banjo-Kazooie with a bit more of a quirkier oddballness about them. Yeah, I tried to mix, I tried to get all that in there. So the kind of quirky stuff for the happy bits, and then using dark harmonies for the creepy bits, but making it still umpire, so it still can be construed as jolly by kids, So I think I've sort of hit that really, and I'm really sort of, half of it's made by accident. But I was really mega proud of doing Viva Pinata because I got that BAFTA nomination for that, which was unbelievable. And I really liked writing that music. It was very, it's very classical sounding, but not heavy classical, not just not boring classical, but sort of, it was my take on the Elgar Vaughan Williams thing, which I really love their music, So
yeah,
and I love doing that. It was great. And also, I'm really proud of doing, I can't say Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, because that was a big score, and like that was like my sort of Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter thing, John Williams.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, I really loved doing that, and it was a big orchestra and a big project, and that was good for me because it got me noticed. It got me reviewed by bona fide sort of movie reviews score sites as opposed to game score sites.
Yeah.
So that kind of got me noticed a little bit, I think, in those realms that people had never heard of me before, and like going, oh, who's this new guy with this new score? And I was like, oh, we're doing it 18 years, I'm pretty not that new, look at my very grey hair, for God's sake, so that was good. So yeah, I'd say those three are probably were great. But I really enjoyed doing all of the stuff I've done. I've been lucky. I've not done anything that I've not liked. I've been really lucky.
So would you say any of yours have been like the most challenging project so far, like one of the most difficult for any reason whatsoever? That was Kingdoms of Amalur, just for the sheer size of it, was it?
Yeah, maybe that was. Yeah, I think the boss pieces for that. I kind of really tried to push the boat out on the kind of big boss battles.
Right.
In that game, and those pieces probably took me a week to write, which is like slow for me, and because I do write quite fast. It may not always be good, but I write fast. So they were that was hard, but it was really rewarding because I've never really gone for that before. And I always thought writing like John Williams, not that I can do it, but my attempt at it, I always thought trying to do that was like mega difficult, and I'd never be able to do it. And then I've said it before, but I literally listened to the first 3 Harry Potter soundtracks for maybe a year in the car going to work and back every single day, and tried to listen to what he was doing without actually analysing the theory of it, just listening to it and try to get the kind of the gist of it, I think I did an awful lot of learning then, and I think even as an old git that I am, you can still learn.
Oh yeah, I think you can never stop learning, really. I think that's the rule, isn't it? You can always learn something.
Yeah, I think I felt like one being an old git, I just too past it to understand something that complicated, So I was quite pleased with myself that I managed to have a decent stab at it anyway, Actually, on SoundCloud, I've actually put if you go to SoundCloud Amalur, it's on there. I kind of stuck the best tracks on there. The ones that I think are the best. So you can listen to it on there if you wanted to. It's on there.
Is there like a dream project you would like to work on?
To make Harry Potter.
Yeah.
That's finished now.
Harry Potter, if it was possible.
No, she's just announced. She's just announced that she's going to turn that book. Is it the Magical Creatures book? Yes. Warner Brothers have just. She's announced that they are making that movie now.
Nice.
So it's kind of set 70 years before Harry Potter. So it still means that people like Dumbledore and the Thilda Bagshot. Sorry, I'm a bit of a Potter nut, but they could turn up they could turn up realistically in that movie. And J.K. Rowling's actually writing a screenplay for that. Yeah, so like so it's going to be a proper bona fide Harry Potter, Harry Potter universe. You can dream, can't you?
Yeah. So a movie's kind of like a dream for you then, yeah?
Oh yeah, I would absolutely love to do a movie. Yeah, it's like I really would. I'd like to do everything really. I like to do games and all sorts, but I would love to get into to score. Because I like writing that big fantasy music, so I'd love to write something that was fantastical and get into some kind of fantasy movie. That would be amazing for me.
Do you have like an idol apart from John Williams, or is he like the man?
He's it really. He's it. I still like people like Danny Elfman and like Anna Silvestri and all the big boys. They're great. Yeah. The guys that can really do it. I mean, I really like people like that. So that they're the kind of people that I definitely aspire to try and be like.
Yeah. Have you had any opportunities to meet your heroes yet, or anything? Have you met anyone?
I've been in the same room as John Williams, but I was too scared to say hello.
Oh.
So, I just right at the end of the do, I kind of plucked up the courage to go and say hello, and then he'd gone.
Oh,
so I missed that one. So you never know. One day.
Maybe another time.
Yeah.
How early on are you normally involved in the process? Are you involved at like concept stage, or do you kind of get given this game idea and go write music?
When you're working as an in-house composer, you're there from the start, aren't you? Like at Rare, I was there from the start. I was on the team, and you started when they started, and that was it. When you're doing music on a freelance basis, like I've done for other people, you probably near the end of the project, so they've got all the kind of their post-production, they're kind of getting it all together, and it's time to have some music in there. So I think it differs. But I think that the process that I used to write music hasn't changed ever. I just literally, sit at my keyboard, load up a sample of something, a piano or a violin or a cello or whatever it may be. I feel like at the time French horn. Just look around until I hear a melody that I like or a chord sequence that I like, and then start from there. I mean, I don't have any magical process where. There's a famous quote by David Lee Roth, Van Halen. He's sitting there. I love Van Halen to death, so I used to watch interviews over and over again. And like, I remember him saying to this interviewer, you don't sit in a in a darkened room and wait for the hand of the Lord to hand you a song. It doesn't work like that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of. I think one of the things about being at Rare over that length of time, being a staff composer, is you get used to going in there in the morning and starting work at 9 o'clock. So you go in, you get your cup of tea, you sit at 9 o'clock and start writing a tune, you know, and you get used to that workman-like procedure. So I can be very workman-like like that. I think I'm not. I don't have to sit and wait for inspiration. I do mess around until I kind of noodle something out that I think might be good, you know. So it is just like that. It's nothing magical about it.
Still sounds like pretty much a dream job, though. There's so many people that would love to just go, oh, I turn up at 9 o'clock and I start writing tunes, you know.
Oh no, yeah. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not known for being the happiest man in the world. I mean, I'm quite full there. Soon tell you that. You know, and I think everyone moans about everything all the time. But you know,
as well.
yeah, of course, yeah. I think definitely, especially Scottish as well. I'm actually Scottish as the rest of the world, aren't I? So like, I think that, you know, there is that thing that I still moan about it. Don't get me wrong, and I'm still. My problem is that is one of the main problems I have, of course, socially. No, my problem is that I call it the curse of aspiration. Like, I aspire to be this like superhuman movie composer, you know, and like, you know, just be this massive big thing, you know, and like I want to be that. And no matter what you do, you never get there, because I'm never going to get there.
You're a Pro Tools guy, aren't you? That's your main go-to.
Yes.
Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Do you have any go-to plugins within Pro Tools that you use that you love?
Well, you know, I've used Pro Tools, but I very rarely use it to record any audio. Like, it's not like that. I just use it as my sequencer.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess, you know, since Pro Tools 8, Pro Tools has been a lot better. The MIDI on it's a lot better. It's like Cubase now. Yeah. So like, I've got Pro Tools 9 here. I've got Pro Tools 11, kind of another place. So like, and so I've just started using Pro Tools 11, the new one, the 64-bit one, and it's good, but it's annoying that everything's not AAX yet. That's annoying. But I mean, 64-bit's great. It's nice to be able to, because, you know, with Pro Tools 9, like, I've just got it sat in my lounge here, like, you know, I do that stuff. You know, I have to run that Vienna Symphonic, the Vienna Ensemble thing, called Vienna Pro Ensemble. So I had to run play inside that, because if you use play as a plugin inside Pro Tools 32-bit, you can't look at string samples, because it's too gigantic. It just gets completely broken.
Yeah, it just kind of crashes.
You know, and to get to your RAM on your PC, obviously been a 32-bit problem. It can't get past like 3 gigabytes or 2 gigabytes of information. You know, can't get anywhere past that. So you're stuffed. So I do run play inside Vienna Pro, and it works fantastically well.
Say I'm an aspiring composer. I want to get into video games. I want to do what you do as for a living.
Right.
Now, where do I start?
Give up. That's what I say. No, I'm only joking. You know, it's ridiculously hard to get into the games industry or composing for anybody these days. And I really, because I've been so long in it, I don't think I really know how to do that thing. And I get a lot of people asking that all the time through my website and stuff. So what I generally say, I sort of say, make sure that you can write in as many different styles as possible. Like, loads of people just forget about that. And like, you know, being a game, like working at Rare, to compose in a billion different styles, you know, especially something like Viva Pinata, where I had to write 60 romance dances, all on a different style of music, from like punk to metal to rap to you name it. I mean, to ballroom dancing to, you know, because game designers, you know, can and will just ask you for the first thing that pop into their head and just expect you to do it. Like, and it's no good going, oh, well, I just do dance really. I'm unfortunately not going to get hired if you just do dance. You know, if you just do orchestral music, you're just not going to get hired. Yeah. You know, so you have to be able to do all that stuff and do it well, you know. And I remember like back at school when I was doing theory lessons, like they said that Mozart or Haydn, one of the two, I can't remember, I think it might have been Haydn, would take Mozart stuff. I'm probably getting this completely wrong chronologically, but it was some composer and another composer, I forget the names, right? You'd take the symphonic style off that person, you'd work out what they're doing, like idea A, idea B, idea A, idea C, rip out what they did and put your stuff back in the place of it, in place of what their ideas were, and see how it works, you know. And that's a really great way of learning to write music. You should, you know, it's you know, pick a track that you're unfamiliar with, or a piece of music a style of music you're unfamiliar with, and listen to it, and then try and recreate it. You know, insert your own ideas into their skeleton. Yeah. So you pull up the flesh, put your own stuff in, you know, and it's a great way of learning stuff like this, I think. You know, and I've done it millions of times to do stuff like that and to help you learn stuff, you know. So I'd say that's a really massive bit. And also, I think the biggest thing about writing music for somebody else is remember that you know, you're being hired, right, to write music for somebody else. And whether you like it or not, or whether you like what they're telling you to do or not, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
You have to write what they want. It's their project. They're paying you. Your work for hire. And it's no good saying, actually, you're wrong there. This is a great piece of music. You just can't hear it. Because they're going to go, why don't you just fuck off? Like, that's the way they're just going to read. I'm going to go, oh, is that right? I'm going to find somebody else who agrees with me. It's their project, Yeah. I mean, the only true way to write music that you like is to go away and write your own symphony. Write your own thing, and you do what you like with it. Until that point, you are work for hire. And you can make suggestions and say, I think this is how it should go. But they say, I don't think it is how it should go. Then you go, yes, I'll change it immediately. That's no problem at all. Yeah. It's people that say yes all the time, regardless of whether they like it or not, are the ones that get on. Absolutely, that's the only way you're ever going to progress. Because people hopefully they've heard music you've done in the past, and that's why they've hired you to do this gig for them. They like what you do, but I always say another Dave Roth quote is, it's like it's their rainbow. You're happy to ride on it with them, but it's still their rainbow. So like you have to be prepared to do what they want, and if you're not prepared to do that, then you're going to get fired, or you're going to find someone else who will. So those are, I think, they're two really important points about writing music for anybody, games, anything, you name it. And I would say to composers, I say, it is massively difficult, but you need to know people and meet people and get connected network wise. And that's I've learned living in LA for this last year, that is easily 50% of the battle. Having the talent's just accepted, right? You can do the job, right? But you don't know anybody. You need to know somebody. All the freelance gigs that I've got over the last year and a couple of years or so has been through people I've known from years gone by, or from, I don't know, from just the most tenuous connection possible. Yeah. But, that is it. It's all about who you know. And you need to meet everybody, do everything, go everywhere, write longer, work harder. You have to do all that stuff more than the next person. Because if you're not doing it, somebody else is.
It's a good way to think about it,
yeah. I am banging that situation right now. You have to have an agent to do what, to be a composer. Like we're in LA right now. There's nowhere around it. You have to have an agent. So like, I moved out here and thought, oh yeah, I'll get an agent. Yeah, it's going to be piss easy. No problem at all. So, I used to start at the top. So I went to look at Gorfain Sports, who's like probably LA's most best known premier agency. They've got John Williams and Michael Giacchino, and Christ knows what they've got. Hollywood's top 10 A-list composers are on bloody Gorfain Sports. So I thought, yeah, I'll just go there, be no problem. So like, I sent an email. Yeah, by the way, it's me. How you doing? No reply. Thought, maybe they missed it. Send another one. Never. So like, I must have sent 50 emails to go. Not 50, but I spent a lot of emails to Gorfain Sports. It's hard enough to try to find the email addresses. Never mind, it's on another email. Yeah. So I tried that. Never got a reply. Never heard back from them. Thought, bollocks to it. So I've gradually worked my way down to the lowest of the lowest agent I could possibly find in LA, and even they wouldn't take me on. So they're busy. Sorry. And they're people that I felt I was, reasonably better known than they were, and still wouldn't take me on. And so that's like that was like, well, it took me at least a year, that right, to get nowhere. And then completely out of the blue, I got an email from Gorfain Sports saying, would you please come for a meeting? And I was like, what? Is this some kind of joke? And I decided, I thought, I'm going to send Cheryl Tiana, who's one of Gorfain Sports' most prestigious agents, done it for like over 20 years. She's like, everybody knows her. She's like probably one of the best agents in the business. Right. I thought sending one more email just to go, why not? I've wasted enough emails now. I might as well waste one more. And that was the one she replied to. I don't know why. Whether she just ignored me before, I don't know. And Cheryl's a really nice person. It's just bizarre. And that got me in the door. I went to meet Kevin Korn, who is my agent now, at Gorfain Sports. I had like 4 meetings there. They kind of sizing me up, and they said, we'll take you on, Wow. And that was, for me, absolutely incredible. I mean, to be on that agency, with John Williams, even though he's in this clouds and I'm in the dirt somewhere, is unbelievable for me. And I think that, but then the flip side of that is you realise that having an agent is a real necessity, and Gorfain Sports have got like lots and lots and lots of fantastic composers, way better than me, who are way more famous than I'm not famous, they are, like that, and like, so, I have to, it's up to me to still push. I can't just sit back and go, right, they'll do it all for me now, I'm going to sit here and get the gigs. Great. That don't work like that. It's like, you still continue to push all your contacts, everyone try and get gigs, keep mailing people, see you got any work, like that, and then Go Fame will hopefully see that you're, someone they should work with, because you work hard, you bring stuff to them, and and it's a kind of, they call it a strategic partnership, where we both do our jobs all the time, we both look for stuff all the time, so that's a big learning curve for me. I didn't know any of that stuff when I got to LA, so that was like a big thing to understand. So I'm right in the middle of that right now. I'm chasing everything that I can. Sorry, it's a very long answer about the question about how to get into the business, but yeah, it's I do say to a lot of new composers, the indie scene is really bubbling right now. There's lots and lots and lots of indie guys making lots of great games out there. There really are, and a lot of the music's getting massively well known. I mean, my good friend Danny Baranowski and Jimmy Hinton are both good friends of mine. Are both, they want to be indie guys, and they're not interested in doing AAA games. They couldn't give a shit. Their music's well known. They do a great job. They're fantastic at what they do. And I mean, it's like there's all that going on. So I think that for new composers, they need to search that out. They need to find people making indie games in colleges or student projects and all that kind of stuff, and offer to do the tune for free. Because some games get out there and just go stellar. I mean, they don't all, and there's lots that don't, obviously, but it's a really viable thing, and you just can't sit back and expect it to happen for you. You have to chase it. Every minute of your existence has to be dedicated to chasing that thing. If you haven't got that motivation or the time to do it, you're not going to get there.
No, and that's it. You get out what you put in.
The coin is that I've got this little fridge magnet that my friend of mine bought me. It's a quote from Winston Churchill. It just says, "Never, never, never give up." And I've got that stuck on my bloody fridge. Always. So, and I think that's true. It's people that give up that you don't get there.
Yeah.
If you keep going, you still might not get there. But if you don't give it everything, you're not gonna. Like me moving to LA, I thought I have to give it a shot.
Yeah.
It might be difficult. I might end up. It might be a disaster, and it still could be easily. But I think you have to give it your absolute all. And I felt I'm not going to go through life thinking I could have done movies. I've had a chance. I don't want to do that. I still might not get there, but I want to make sure that I gave it my best shot. I said to my son all the time, just as long as you do your best, there's no one to blame except you. Yeah, I think like me getting to Santa Go Fame Sports, like they can arrange for me to meet people that I can never get to by myself, right?
Yeah.
And that's their job. And if I get to that meeting and I'm a complete wanker and I completely balls it up, then I've only got myself to blame, right?
Yeah.
So if they can get me through that door, then that person that could do something for me, that's the point where I need to be able to talk well and sell myself and say I do this job and be keen and be amicable and all that stuff. People don't want to deal with introvert tossers who don't communicate.
Drama
they want to be, they want to be full of beans and excited and amicable, and you'll change it when they say I don't like it and all that stuff. They want to be like that guy, and that's why directors go back to the same composers over and over again, because I bet you bottom dollar they get on well. Yeah. And they know they can trust that guy. He comes up with the goods. He's reliable. There's never any kind of problems. That's easy for them. So I think all that stuff is wrapped up inside being a composer. And I think having the ability to compose just isn't enough. It's only half the battle. 50% is all the rest of it.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Definitely agree. Because it's such a tough industry as well. And there's such a high amount of demand to want that job that, like you say, if you're not doing it, someone else will be. So
absolutely. Yeah. You got to try. You just got to give it your all. There's no way around it.
Yeah. What would you say to people who provide the excuse of like, I don't have the best software, I don't have the best instruments, I don't have the best tools at my hands. It's really expensive to get all this gear. How do I make top quality music without having this available to me? People that say that.
I guess there's some validity in that. It's you're gonna have to do, certainly in an orchestral sense. That would be the bit I think where you'd fall down, because you're gonna have to have decent sample libraries, because people expect it to sound, the MIDI mock-ups to sound pretty bloody good these days.
Yeah.
And I'm not great at that. My MIDI mock-ups are all right, but I'm getting better, but they're not great. I think on electronic side of things, write electronic music or something that involves, synths and samplers and all the rest of it. I don't think that's a valid excuse. I think you can make something out of nothing there. I don't believe that. Like I had a chat with a songwriter the other day I know very well. He was talking to me about some guy who wrote lots of hits, and he's still using old crappy samples from the M1 synth, which is pretty old. and was good at the time, but that's like probably 15 years ago, probably longer, you know. And like, so that for me, that's irrelevant. I don't think you can do that. You can get a copy of Massive for pretty cheap, and there's your basic synth, and it does it all. It's got everything, every sound you've ever heard is right inside that bit of software you're looking at right there. You know, learn to use it. I mean, it's complicated, but learn to use it. You can make anything you want inside that sampler, that synth. Sorry, anything you like. You know. So I mean, you know, I'm not the best electronic music guy, but you know, the music I've done for Ninja Gaiden is all electronic. There's not an orchestral note in it. It's all completely, you know. And I've sat there using Damage and Omnisphere and all that, you know, all that stuff. You know, so you know, I think that I'm not great at that, but you know, you get a preset, you fiddle around with it a bit, and then you stick it in. It goes. You know. I'm not the kind of guy that has that kind of. I hear an awful lot of people say you can't use it. You can't use a patch straight out of synth. You can't do that. You just can't. It's not right. You know. Because everybody else has got that, all your peers will hear it. And I said, who gives a shit about your peers? Who gives a shit about the composer stood next to you that recognises that sample? Because anybody else who hears that tune you've written in the normal world isn't going to go, oh, that's from that Omnisphere, that is, I recognise that sound. They're not going to give a shit. Yeah. They don't give a shit. You know, all they care about is the normal person in the street, like my wife, just goes, I like it or I don't. There's no nonsense about sample quality or which synth patch you used or all that stuff. The normal person just thinks it's good and that's it.
And even the director won't go, oh, that's that. You can't use that preset.
Oh, yeah, exactly. The only instance I've come across that is I know some guys work in trailers and say the trailer guys sometimes get very funny about using existing patches and they recognise it. Right. And I've heard that a few times about trailer people. I've never done any trailers like that, just trailer work, you know. So I've heard that a few times. That may be true. So even then, I think it's a bit ridiculous because the trailers is going to be for people who watch a trailer on, you know, Apple trailer site, and they're not going to care about what bloody string sample you use. Or I don't, you know. So I don't really adhere to that point of view. I don't think it's valid. But for me, it's, you know. So as I say, I think orchestrally, you're going to need to get your hands on some decent samples, I think, at some point. You know, I just think you are. There are a lot of good, cheap, you know, Spitfire stuff over there in the UK. It's fantastic. You know, that stuff's great. You know, and a lot of these libraries are coming down and down and down and down. They're not as expensive as they were. You know, when I bought Hollywood Strings at $2,000, it's like $500 now or something. You know, so like, you know, they're coming down. You know, so I think you have to decide what you want to do. If you want to write pop music or, you know, electronic music, then you're probably going to be able to get some you know, some software synths that are pretty cheap and sound pretty bloody good. Let's face it, as long as it's got LFOs and all the rest of it, you can do what you like with it. You can make any sound, you know, you can make any sound you like out of it. That's what it's there for. Yeah. You know, you preset maybe your starting point, then you fiddle with it to make it something else. I'm in two camps with that argument. I think orchestrally, you're going to need something decent, but electronically, I'm sure you can manage with something. Like, for God's sake, people are still using 808 drum samples, aren't they? They're still the kick drum. I mean, you can get them for like, what, 10 pence probably? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Yeah. So for God's sake, I don't really. That doesn't hold water for me, I'm afraid.
When you were saying about how you have to write in so many different styles, would you say that there is a particular style that's your most difficult genre to write in? Or
for me, or generally?
For you, or would you say that over the years, because you've had to write in so many different styles, that you don't find it that difficult anymore to write so versatile? Or is there actually one particular genre that you find most difficult to compose in?
I don't think I'm great at dance music, whatever that happens to be at the time. Like, you know, the kind of Skrillex thing. Like, I've done a bit of that for Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden, I don't know bloody pronounce it. You know, I've done a bit of that. But you know, I'm not good at that. I don't think. I think I'd put up a good crack at it. I'd put up different tracks and you know, the same old thing. Analyze it, work out what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, but like, there's so many hip things going on and that stuff, like the hip synth sound of the moment, the hip drum sound of the moment, all that kind of stuff. That I just probably don't adhere to because I'm bloody old and don't listen to music very much. You know.
Yeah. I want to write what I know.
Yeah. So, you know, I'd say, you know, I'm probably not great at that, but I'd have a good crack at it probably. You know, like I say, you know, this Ninja Gaiden thing it's been all electronics. So it's been I haven't really done much electronic stuff since Perfect Dark, really. So it's been quite good getting a crack at that again and having a bit of a mess around with it all. So I've quite enjoyed doing that. And, you know, I think hopefully that my harmonic sense of stuff and melodic sense that I've got from other stuff would just be something that you wouldn't hear much in that music. So I can interject that into it, make it a bit different. I'm not saying I've done that, but maybe I have, I don't know. So, yeah, you know, so I just think that you can't be great at everything. You just can't. You have to do your best. You have to, now you've got to be a composer, you've got to produce it, mix it, master it, all the rest of it, for your MIDI demos. That's pretty hard. I mean, you get guys that just are just mixing guys, mix engineers. That's all they do. That's their thing. You can't expect to be as good as them. And they can't expect to be as good a composer as you because they don't do it very often. So I think that once you get up the ladder, you're going to be able to have a team of people. You're going to go, yeah, you can do that bit, I'll do this, you do that, off we go. Where obviously I'm not at that point yet. But I do know a few people that could do great MIDI mock-ups. If I needed something to be really fantastically MIDI mocked up, I'd just probably write it and give it to them and say, I'll pay you $300 an hour and, make it better. I've written all the music and all the parts of it. You just got to get it sounding better. And that's something that I would definitely think about doing. If it's some gig you really want and you think your MIDI mock-up's not great, then get somebody that is great at doing it to pay them good money to do it and be thankful for it. So I think I think all that stuff.
That's very wise, because you have to if it's something you're not great at but you still have good music, then it's worth getting someone out there to do it for you and be able to make your stuff sound better when you can't master, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's like the most interesting part of music for me is the harmony and the melody. That's my most interesting bit. The rest of it I find tedious.
Yeah.
So like I like to write tunes, I like to write chords and all that stuff, and get it great. But the rest of it, I'm not a great polisher. I just haven't got the interest in it. I have to do it. I haven't got the interest really. And I always think that the bread and butter of it is the melody and the harmony. So like you can dress it up how you like and make it metal or whatever whatever you want to do with it at the end of the day. But that's the most essential part. The harmony and the melody, that's the most important bit. And you can dress it up however you want to dress it up. Any style you like, reggae, rap, I don't care what it is. You just orchestral. It's still the same thing, just different colours.
So do you still get a lot of time to compose personal stuff at all, or do you find that because you work as a composer so often that you don't really want to work, if you know what I mean?
There's a really good answer to that. A very short answer, and the word that is never. I never compose for fun, ever.
Really? Ever?
Never. Not for. I can't remember. I just haven't got the interest. It's like I think that I always thought I'd like to write a symphony, just do it, and just have my own symphony that I've written that at some point. But I've never got there, and I can't be bothered to do it. I think that the minute I started working at Rare, my interest in writing any music apart for myself stopped. It just ended that day. I just don't, because of being a music guy was a hobby for my life, like playing in bands and metal bands and all the rest of it and doing gigs. It was my hobby, wasn't it? It's what I did. And the minute I started working at Rare, that ceased to be my hobby. It became my job. Yeah, and I've never done it since. I tell a lie. I wrote a piece when my wife and me got married. A bit where you sign the register. I wrote a piece of music for that. So when we went to the register bit, I played this kind of orchestral piece that I'd written for us. It was kind of supposed to meet my personality and her personality, Scottish and English and all that nonsense. So I did a bit of that. So I did that, but I got to say that's probably it. Yeah, and even some of that ended up in Viva Pinata. So
good little credit there.
So so I mean, it's like I don't do anything at all musically, personally, ever.
And do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad, probably. I mean, when I think of the years that I spent trying to be a good metal guitar player, and I can do all the hammer-on nonsense, all that I can do. I was that kind of Eddie Van Halen guy.
Yeah.
I spent every waking minute doing that. I absolutely wanted to be that guy so much, and I've got two guitars sat under the bed in here, right? I've got a Zach Wild Les Paul, and I've got the guitar that Eddie Van Halen gave me, the early born music man that he gave me.
So amazing.
I know, yeah, and they're sat in the case under the bed gathering dust. I've not looked at them in I can't remember when. Just sat there gathering dust. I just think I just can't believe it. I've got no interest at all.
So you never get that moment where you sat there and you want to pick it up. It just always
no, not at all. Me and Danny Baranowski were pitching for a game, and I wanted 70s funk, and so he did the drums. I did the guitar, and he did all the backing, the drums, the bass, a lot of that stuff. And I liked it, and that's the last time I played guitar. And before that was probably a few months ago. No, it was probably February this year. And then before that, I can't remember when I played guitar last.
So you think that actually composing for a living has taken your passion out of your music, if you know what I mean? So it's taken your love for just doing it is gone.
But I'm passionate about what I compose. Yeah, but it's been a passion. Yeah, I'm not interested.
To have the passion to just want to play just for the sake of playing, that's gone.
Yeah, no, not at all. Weird. So I don't know why. I don't know. I haven't got the interest at all.
Can you tell us about what you're working on at the moment and what lies in the future? I mean, obviously you mentioned Ninja Gaiden. That's coming out next year. So.
Yeah, I'm still doing a bit to go. I've got that Hat in Time thing to do. I don't know if you've seen that Kickstarter.
Yeah, I've seen updates. Yeah, on
so
things.
they got all that cash from Kickstarter, but they've been they're actually not they're all based around the world, so they're all not in one place. So they're all they had to incorporate. So the guy that runs it, I think he's in Finland or something like that, and they're making an actual company, so they're incorporating. And it's taken a little while to do it. I think they got the cash. They got like 300 grand out of Kickstarter. I don't think actually got the cash yet. They're still going through tax stuff. So I think it's a bit delayed. So I haven't started on that yet. But I'm just waiting for them to say what they want. So I think I'm doing like 6. I was kind of included in the Kickstarter thing. So depending on what cash they made, I'd write an extra tune, a bit like that.
Yeah.
I think every 15 grand they got. I don't get paid 15 grand. That's by the way. But yeah. So I'm just waiting for that. I've just there's a friend of mine here called Chris Trammell, I don't know if it's Trammell or Trammell. He used to work at Insomniac, and he was the guy that did the original Booger Man. They call it over here, but it's Booger. Yeah, so it's 20 years old. So it's a kick that I said to a friend, I said, look, I'll do tunes for you. So they got that kickstarting for that. There's other bits and pieces that I can't mention. So I've just got. So that's the thing I can sort of talk about right now. I'm chasing lots and lots of things. And you get halfway with stuff and then it'll change their minds or it'll stop or it's like that. So all the time I'm trying to. There's this kind of, like I mentioned, this is this kind of kids cartoon thing that's bubbling away at the moment that I might have a shot at, but I may not. So I don't know. Let's wait and see.
Cool. I think that pretty much wraps up the questions for the Sound Architect. Thank you very much for participating and giving us an insight into your work and how your process is and everything you use. It's been really, really helpful. Thank you.
Well, thank you for asking me. I hope I didn't talk complete nonsense like I do normally.
No, it all made sense. Don't worry.